So we're starting a little early because I'm just basically discombobulated. But how is that anything different or new? For those of you who are surprised, surprise, Gail, because yeah, I am a couple, I'm a couple weeks early because I wanted to do a launch video for this book. Yes, this one. But I'll be in Thailand on the normal Saturday that I would do a live. So I just decided to do it early before I left. And that's just because the time zones are so different. It would just mess with everything. To do a live at the same time there would be a different time, you know. Hello, June, how are you? Yes, so all of which is to say I'm a minute early or 2 minutes early or something. I have lots of things. We have lots of things to do today, despite the fact that it is a surprise live. Hi, Sally, how are you? Oh my gosh, you're able to watch today. Right. So, yes, tell me where you're tuning in from. Hello to everyone tuning in. Ostensibly, we'll be talking about this book, the last one in a trilogy. Hello, UK. New Mexico. Hello. Hi, everybody. Yes, it officially releases Tuesday, right? Monday? Tomorrow. It officially releases tomorrow. Oh boy, it officially releases tomorrow, which is Sunday the 1st of October, which is also Solas's 14th birthday. I have just, like, you can't see this, but I'm just, like, surrounded by stuff to talk about with you. Cleveland, hi Cleveland. I used to go to school near you in Baltimore. Yay! Right, so this is book number 3 in the Tinkered Starsong series. Here are the other 2 in the series. So I don't have enough hands, but that's a completed trilogy, everybody. Can you believe I wrote that many words? I suppose you can. It did take me, you know, 1.5 years, 2 years. So not surprising. But for me to write that many words back to back is pretty surprising for me. And then to release them so quickly, one after another. And it's been an interesting experience. We can talk about that if you like. The first thing to do is to show you, this is the Ingram version of the book. So if you order this book from an independent bookstore, from Barnes & Noble online, or Foyles, or Chapters, or Angus & Robinson, any of those vendors, this is the book you will get. This is the Amazon version of the book. Won't have this stripe. That stripe is the ARC thing, and it won't have this barcode. That barcode is the ARC thing. ARC means advanced reader copy. So this is just the version that they print early and send to us so we can see what it looks like. But essentially they're pretty unchanged. Depending on the printing press, the tone might be slightly different, but frankly, this happens with traditionally published books as well. But as you can see, maybe you can't, maybe you can. The one from Amazon is a little tiny bit more kind of neutral gray yellowish, and the one from Ingram is a little bit bluer. But otherwise, they're exactly the same. And I've gone in and updated the metadata on this one, so this one is also exactly the same depending on who you order it from. This one is slightly different, but I'll fix it eventually. I do like uniformity. I know there are collectors out there who like it when my books are slightly different depending on which vendor you get it from, but I strive to make them all as similar as possible depending on who I upload to. But that is it. The print edition is available. It's actually available already. You can order it immediately, but because of shipping and stuff, it probably won't get to you until the drop date. So, yeah, so that's the print edition. Shall we talk about tea? Let's talk about tea. I'm drinking this tea today, which is my tea, which is back in stock. This is Deep Blue Abyss. It's at Tea Punk Teas, all solo words. And it is an oolong and butterfly pea leaf. And I helped to create it, so of course I'm very proud of it, and I love it a lot. I love it particularly because you can mix stuff with it, and it changes colors and does exciting things. So I made up some of the pure of it, which is really hard to see. It is blue, but it's hard to see in this light. And I'm going to mix it with some like fizzy lemon water, basically. in the hopes of turning it like purple, but also making it kind of like a palate cleanser, because I have a bunch of purple food to eat today on screen for you, and that my lovely assistant gathered, and I figured a lemony oolong would make for a nice like palate cleanser. So I've just added the spritzer to it, and look, it's gone all purple. Yay! Purple tea to go with the purple food. I'm going to be drinking it out of this teacup today, which is actually a rose design, but the rose design is only really on the interior. Because I always get asked, the teacup is Waco China from Japan. So it's a Japanese cup made, it says Occupy Japan, so it looks like it's probably the 30s or something like that. I would never have guessed just from looking at it, but there it is. And I'm having it because it goes with my dress. I'm wearing, this is an E Shakti brocade galaxy fabric dress that I customized. It's a cocktail dress, but I'm wearing it for you this afternoon for tea because I don't get a chance to wear it very often, and I wanted to. I actually ordered it before lockdown, so it actually hasn't really gone out in public yet. Soon, I hope. Right, so I'm going to pour myself a little bit of tea. I hope you guys have some questions for me. As always, I love your questions. You can't see, but in the dark cup, the color is just so pretty. Oh, lipstick. I'm wearing this one. This is the Revlon Vinyl, I think it's called. Yeah, Vinyl Lip Polish. It's linked either below or above, depending on how you're watching this. There's a link that says Lippy, and that's the Lippy I'm wearing. I did a big blog post recently over on the blog, gailcarriger.com, about my makeup routine and stuff, so I'm pretty much wearing the version that's for screen today, so you can read all about it there if you're interested. Dress with pockets. Yes. This dress does have pockets. It's one of the reasons, I mean, eShakti allows you to customize, like add sleeves onto things and stuff like that. I really prefer dresses with sleeves. And also it allows me, who has the taste of the 1950s, to kind of tailor whatever designs they have to the 1950s, so I can change the hemline. In this particular instance, I actually took the design of a different dress and put this fabric into it because they had that feature for a while, so I did that. I don't know if they still have that feature at eShakti, but yes, short answer, one of the reasons I now order almost all of my dresses from them is because they have pockets. And if they don't have pockets, you can customize it and put pockets in it. So I order it because pockets. Yes, as Sue says, please, if you have a question for me, put a question at the beginning of the comment. That way when I'm scanning, I can see that it's a question. And it looks like we already have questions. My goodness. We're starting off quickly. I'm going to stay on top of it this time, or at least try to. Am I ever on top of it? No, I'm never on top of it. It's tea. I'm relaxed about everything. Everybody's saying hi. There's the question about pockets. Land, Robin? I don't understand your question. Where in book 3 is the biggest twist? Where? Like approximately where in the... It's about here. Yeah, that would be my guess. I mean, I'm not being fancy with the narrative arc, so there's you know, a penultimate and an ultimate. There's a climax and a denouement, just like in most of my books. I tend to do like 3 5s. So about 1/3 of the way through, there'll be a big freaking surprise, and about 2/3 of the way through, there'll be a big freaking surprise. But I think it's me, so I pretty much laid the groundwork. The beautiful thing about this series is that I wrote, because I could write them all together, I could kind of paste them all similarly in both within each individual book and then also as a whole trilogy. So I laid the groundwork for a lot of what happens in the 3rd book in the 1st one. So it should feel like not too out of the box surprising. It should be comfortable surprising. You should kind of have known what was happening, but not really known what was happening. That's, I think, the great secret to writing comforting reads for people, is that there's a hindbrain aspect of being a reader that kind of knows and has expectations about what's going to happen in the book. And as a writer, I want to satisfy that while still bringing something novel and interesting to the table. So I hope I've managed to do that with this book. Tell me in a review whether I did or not. But yeah, Cindy, the answer to your question is that 1/3 and 2/3, as it should be. Lavender, my darling, hello. Lavender asks, are we keeping the chat spoiler free today? I'm about halfway through. I hope we're keeping the chat spoiler free. If you ask a question in a comment that is spoilery, I will not answer it, or I will just say, we'll talk about it in the next live or something. Yeah, this book isn't out yet. I know some of you, especially some of you who are very devoted, have already read it and got it early. For those of you who don't know, if you order the digital edition from me directly, I always send it out early for everybody because that's my little thank you for getting it directly from me. And in this particular instance, because it's Dome 6, I sent it out 6 days early because I'm tricksy like that. Yeah, so some of you who are fast readers and very devoted readers have managed to read it already. So yeah, let's keep it spoiler free. I'm not gonna, since it's not officially out until tomorrow, I don't want to spoil anything for you. So feel safe tuning in. And if you ask a spoilerly question in the comment, I'll try not to. I'm gonna read the questions before I say them out loud so that I don't say something that a commenter shouldn't. Honestly, I'm doing very well today, everybody. Will I try traditional dress whilst in Thailand? If it's okay to do so, probably. I think that's a matter of courtesy to the culture that I'm visiting, whether they want or allow you to try traditional dress or not. From what I know, watching Thai dramas and Thai historicals in particular, the way women's clothing was in the past might be, how do I put this, antithetical to my body type. I might be a little too well endowed for for traditional Thai dress, but I'm willing to give it a try if it's something that's okay for a tourist or a visitor to do. If it's not, then I won't do it, obviously. But I don't know. I usually just throw myself in and see what happens. But I will be trying all the food, that's for sure. Robin asks, here we go, what am I most excited to eat in Thailand? Okay, so there's a couple of dishes that I'm really hoping to try, but are really hard to find even in Bangkok. And I'm not doing a lot of traveling within Thailand this time. Hopefully if all goes well, I'll get to go back again someday. And one of them is a southern dish. It's, I can't pronounce the Thai, but essentially it's a fish sour soup. So it has a lot of the tom yum profiles, that sort of sweet sourness. But it's made specifically with a fish belly that's been pickled and preserved and then is reconstituted and reused in this soup. And for those reasons, it's not a soup that's often exported. So I've never seen it in a Thai restaurant anywhere. And so that's something I'd really like to try. If we can track down a restaurant that specializes in southern cuisine in Bangkok, then I'll probably try that. I really like salted and preserved fish in particular. I grew up, my dad is Danish and ate a lot of traditional Scandinavian dishes and things like that, or not that there are that many, but shortly put, pickled herring is very formative in my childhood. I genuinely like pickled things, and I like pickled fish and, stuff that is a little weird to a lot of American palates. And so I like to try pickled, salted, and preserved fishes and meats in other countries. So that's one of the things on my hit list. And then particularly, I'm mostly interested in kanom, which are the Thai desserts. And then that's because we just don't get most of them here in the States. A lot of their desserts are based on what we would think of as mochi, so glutinous rice, basically glutinous rice flour, which is made, and then they have a lot of coconut in their desserts, and those are two things that I really, really love. So there's a lot of Thai desserts that I really want to try. And then they also do something with desserts where they flavor the dessert with incense. So there's like a food incense that you like wave the desserts over, and like the smoke of it kind of gets into the dessert. And so again, these are things that a lot of them are very time intensive, and so we just don't get them here in the States, even in high-end Thai restaurants. Or so those are things I'm also looking forward to trying. I am also a huge fan of pandan, which is a green colored flavoring. It's actually a leaf. It has a kind of grassy vanilla flavor to it, and I love it. And it's more common in Thailand than sort of a lot of other places. It is in other parts of Asia, but it's yet to break into the US. And so I will be eating everything pandan flavored. I will be stuffing that in my face. Anytime I see a green thing in Thailand, it's more likely to be pandan than it is matcha, and so I'm more likely to order it. So those are the things I'm excited to eat. That was a long answer, but Thai food is my jam. It's my favorite thing. Sally wants to know if this series will end up as an omnibus edition. As you can see, it is really long. So this series, it's hard to tell with my books because I write so much dialogue. My books always kind of look longer than their word count actually is. Shh, little secret. But these ones actually are not as dialogue heavy as I usually write. There's a lot more description in these books than I usually write. So these are actually pretty high word counts for me. I tend to write kind of 85 to 90, with some of the novellas and things coming in more around 50 or 60. These are all in the 90 to 100 range. So they're very long books. And that means long page counts. And that means if it's an omnibus, it would be enormous. It'd be like an old encyclopedia or a dictionary or something. Like, that's a fat book. I would like to do it, but hold on. When Subterranean did this one for me, this is the omnibus edition of the 3 Delightfully Deadly books. So the 3 Delightfully Deadly books are kind of technically long novella, and then one of them is full novel length. So it's like, I think they're like 60K, and 80 or something like that. When Subterranean did this for me, they said this was the longest, fattest book they'd ever done. So, if I approached them and tried to get them to do this, it might break them. It might break the presses. I don't know if the presses that they work with, the specialty presses that produces these, can even do that, can do something that big. But I'm not against it. I haven't reached out to them. This is all smoke and air. I think they'd probably be excited to work with me. They have been in the past usually. I would love to do it as an omnibus edition, but I would also love to do them as, solo special hardcover editions. So, we will see. Frankly, the trilogy has to sell well enough to kind of warrant that and get enough reviews and that kind of thing. That's kind of what Subterranean and I look at to gauge enthusiasm for doing a special edition or a luxury edition of any of my books. Is we got to check and make sure you want it by the numbers. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it for them to do it. Sorry. Lisa asks a doozy of a question. What would Fex eat in Thailand? Fex is obviously into the green, all the powdered things and stuff like that. And mushrooms. He likes mushrooms a lot and mushroom-based substances. I think he'd be into the savory stuff, and he's a big ladle fan, so I think he'd be into the soups a lot. I think the Thai soups and stews would probably be something he'd want to try all the different variants on, which I get. So that would be my guess. And then he doesn't really have a sweet tooth, but he like me might be into some of the pandan stuff because of the bright green color. He's a bit of a magpie in that he's very attracted to shiny things, right? Otherwise, why miss it? Abby asks, did I choose the font style? The font style to match the book's plot story. Solus reads different to yes. Abby, I'm going to answer this in 2 parts because I'm not entirely sure on the tenor of your question. Do you mean the font the typology of the cover art, or do you mean the font inside the book, the printed book, the reading font? Because I'm pretty sure I chose the same internal font, because I usually do that. Hold on. Let me get Solus. Happy birthday to this book, by the way. Tomorrow is its 14th birthday. So I'm looking at just the script font, just what you would read as a reader, and they're the same. It looks like we both went with like Garand or New York Times or whatever. Like we both went with a serifed standard font. I tend to use an internal font in my print editions for the sake of clarity. So something that prints relatively dark despite the printer, because sometimes some fonts just don't print dark enough. I also really like a font that shows, because I use italics a lot, I like a font that shows italics, like clearly is a very different italic looking. I mean, I could talk about fonts forever. Cochin is my favorite font because italic is like practically a different font. So it's like leaps off the page. It's very obvious, but you can't use it in print editions. So it looks like it probably went with Times New Roman or something like that. And it looks like it's exactly the same, or as close as I could get to Solus. If you're talking about the header font, these guys inside, the chapter headers, that is dictated by, I use a program called Vellum to make the print editions, and that's dictated by the style I chose within Vellum, which is a kind of, you know, this sort of layout. It is a kind of sci-fi style, as opposed to something that my publisher would use. See, this is sort of fancy, invented typology here. That's kind of more Victorian-ish or something. If you're talking about the cover font, interestingly enough, actually it's not dissimilar. And that's because when Orbit did these books originally, they intentionally chose an unusual font for a steampunk book. Like you would expect a steampunk or a romancy book to not have a sans serif like this. You would expect it to have a more flowery font, right? But they did this on purpose. And if you Google Gail Carriger Solus cover art, I talk about exactly how this cover art came into existence and why they chose to do that kind of thing. And it has to do with what was going on at the time and stuff like that. I chose this kind of font for this cover, well, my designer did, specifically because it is similar to this. So it kind of ties into my whole legacy of work. But also because these fonts, these kind of cover fonts are much more commonly used in science fiction. And the font is used to telegraph to readers what kind of book they're getting into. So you guys obviously know what kind of book you're getting into because I tell you and you talk to me. But like a stranger to these books needs to have it signaled to them that this is going to be sci-fi. And one of the ways you do that is with a sans serif font. So that was a long answer. I can go to here if you want even more, but as you can see, this is not sans serif. It still screams sci-fi, but I chose instead to marry it to these books because these are under the same pen name because of the high heat thing, and this is urban fantasy. So urban fantasy, again, the font makes a difference. You want a signal marker urban fantasy in a very specific way, and so I wanted to tie these two together, but still make this one sci-fi. And then also have it kind of tie with these, right? So like the font is doing a lot of work. That was a very long way of saying that the font does a lot more work than a lot of readers think about. And a cover designer, yeah, the font does as much work I think as the image does. So it's really important to think about. And that was a really fun question. So thanks for asking. Lisa went to Apotheca Teas. Oh my God! For those of you who missed this bit, I discovered, sort of new, rediscovered, I don't know how to put it, that I have a super fan in Michigan, in Niles, who has a tea shop that is steampunk inspired, that is pretty much inspired by my books, and which I'm very, very honored by. And you all have to pilgrimage there if you're ever in the area. It's now like a fan requirement or something. I will pilgrimage there if I'm ever in the area. Lavender asks, this may have been mentioned before. Oh, for Thailand. Back to Thailand. Again, we're skipping around a lot. This is normal. Sorry to be so erratic. But I am going to Thailand next month. I'm telling everybody this. I don't always tell you when I go on a big vacation because sometimes you don't even notice because I don't change that much, but it's been a long time since I've had this long of a vacation. So I'm going for the entire month of October. I will be in Thailand, and all that means basically is it's a working vacation for me, so I will be writing while I am there, as well as doing lots of fun tourist stuff and eating my body weight in Thai food. I'm telling you because the time difference is so weird, it just means I won't necessarily be online at the normal times I'm usually on, which you may or may not be aware of. It may not even matter to you. I will be online though. I'm hoping that I have internet access while I'm there. I certainly intend to. So is this technically this is not like a research trip, but I do have a tendency to write the places I visit into my books. Over the years, many of the locations that my characters go to show up in my books. So one of the things I always do when I visit a foreign land now is I always go to the National History Museum, mostly because the museum shop will have like primary and secondary source materials and reprints of things that are really, really useful, sometimes in English, which is great. So I'm hoping for that, and I will do that when I'm in Bangkok. Because I do find the history of the area, particularly during the time period that my Parasolvers characters would perhaps visit. It's a very interesting time in that part of the world in general, the sort of 1870s to 1890s. So I will be doing some primary research, and I will be gathering materials because that is my natural inclination as an ex-academic, but also because it might end up in a book. Or it might be the San Andreas characters that end up like going on vacation. The pack goes to Thailand or something. I don't know. In which case it would be, current day that interests me. But so I'm definitely open to it, but I don't have a book I'm specifically working on that's set there while I'm there. But I will do some research while I'm there just in case, both historical and current day, obviously. And, another reason I like to travel and another reason I like to set books where I go is because I feel like you get a sense of place when you travel that like you really can't get off of Google Maps and places like that in terms of the way the air is, the way the angles of the light hit, what the weather patterns feel like, what it smells like. Even modern versus history, I feel like you just get a different feel of a place when you've traveled there. So I do generally, as a writer, prefer to write places I've actually visited into my books as a rule. To answer the other aspect of your question, Lavender, technically, yes, this is a trip. This is like a writing retreat writer trip for me. So I am staying in one place in Bangkok the whole time and then doing like day and weekend trips while I'm there to see other parts of the land. But mostly during the week, at least, I'll be like in a hotel room or in a cafe writing. It is a writer trip for me. But what I will be working on is the project TDD, which I've talked about already in the Chirrup. So, and there are many of you who know and have already guessed what that project is. But that one's about halfway done, and I'm just trying to finish that. And then I have a nonfiction project that I maybe will also be working on while I'm there. But I hope to at least have finished one of those two. That's my writer goal for this trip. So yeah, it's a writing trip for me. I'll be using the very long plane ride. It's going to take me 27 to 30 hours to get there. So I'll be using a lot of that time to write. I actually find writing on a plane really conducive. I am one of those writers who works really, really well with ambient noise. So I love writing at coffee shops. I love writing in sort of semi-public third spaces. With other people doing things and clattering around me. It's one of the reasons I really struggled to write during lockdown is as I just like people being busy around me. It very much works with my muse, I guess. So yeah, so these kinds of writer retreats, where I'm going to be around other writers in our hotel, but also, at cafes and stuff, it's going to be really helpful for me, I hope. Roman says, Adagio teases a bunch of parasol tea, one for Alexia, yada yada. Yeah, that's an interesting copyright infringement situation that I can't control. It's a fan generated thing, and you'll see there are like Harry Potter, and there's even probably Disney stuff in there. They managed to get away with it by having it be a forum created endeavor, but I have nothing to do with those. I haven't selected or had any choices in them. The only tea that's an official tea is this tea, and that's because, and there's no, I don't have like an official merchandise deal with them or anything. We just got together to do this. I'm not making any money off of it or anything. I just got excited about it. To do like official parasol verse teas or whatever, I'd have to like have a contract in place and stuff, and that's because those are copyrighted, and they're copyrighted by me, but the IP is sort of licensed to my traditional publisher, so like it's up to them to protect it and stuff like that too. So that's what's going on with those teas, and one of the reasons I never really talk about it, because it's not official. So, and there seems to be nothing I can or should or whatever do about it. I hope they taste okay. That's always mine. Like, if you look up Gail Carriger fan make fanfic, my issue with fan make and fanfic I officially can't have anything to do with, but unofficially I don't care. Like, please play in my universe, just don't tell me about it. But fan make, which is like when you create something, if you're gonna just use it yourself and wear it, that's awesome. That's like my favorite thing ever. Cosplay is the greatest thing in the universe as far as I'm concerned. I used to be a big cosplayer, and I love it. I love seeing my characters come to life. It's the greatest. But fan make, when you then sell it, I have to protect. There's an IP situation. So you can, if you Google Gail Carriger fanfic fan make, you'll find what my official stance is on that and why. But for me, like, a really important thing is quality control. So I was really happy to do this because I could taste it, because they sent me the samples. I could figure out, like, that it was something I would genuinely like to drink. I'm drinking it right now. Like, I obviously like it. So, whereas something like the Asagio tea thing, are people putting bergamot in teas with my characters on it? Because that would make me very unhappy. Like, I'd be emotionally unstable about that. For those of you who don't know, I really don't like Earl Grey. So, like, keep your furniture polish out of my tea. So, but that's me being a freaking weirdo. But yeah, so I'm more concerned with quality control in general than anything else. I just don't want my name associated with trash, or my characters. I work really, 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 really hard, like really hard to put quality product out for you guys, like in terms of what a book looks like, how it's formatted, how many copy edits it goes through, like I am up at like 3 o'clock in the morning on the deadline for these books, making sure every single typo that I can catch is caught. And I'm like, and there are still a few of you eagle-eyed out there who catch one or two other, like, ones that got through the cracks, like 14 pairs of eyes goes on these books to try and catch all the errors in them. So, I'm kind of like that about anything that I would want associated with it. There's a reason I partnered with Deli for the Bumper Snoot necklace and stuff, and that's because I know they're really good at what they do. Like, those necklaces are gorgeous and their quality control is great. And that's what I care about. So, there we go. We're ranging all over. I'm supposed to be eating purple food, you guys. What time is it? Oh my god, it's 3:30 and I haven't even eaten purple food. Pause on the questions. I'm gonna eat some purple food. Let's start with these. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these are gooseberries. I love gooseberries, but I've only had green gooseberries, which are the British kind, which my very British mother used to call goosegogs. And then this looks like they're the yellow ones, which are the physalias. And I haven't really looked up how related they are to the green ones, but I'm assuming they're the same, like, genus or whatever. And these seem to be, So my lovely assistant Kelly, she lives in a part of the Bay Area where they have lots of like Asian markets and stuff. I basically just like sicked her on them, and I was like, "Here's some money. Go find me purple food, and I will eat it on camera for everybody." And we went to do this for the last live, but then timing got away from us. And oh wait, I've taken off the thing, but I can't figure out how to open this. Well, this will be a lovely mukbang of watching Gail attempt to open, what is going on? Oh, there's a second layer of tape. Okay. Hold on. Abby's asking a question. While I try to open this, with my very, weak hands, Abby asks, do I write in notebooks or digitally? And what's best to track ideas? So, do I write in notebooks or digitally? I think this question is, so the question is really, do I write longhand? I write in a notebook in the middle of the night. I have a little lighted pen so that if I wake up in the middle of the night with a story idea, I don't entirely desert. I really can't open this. I don't entirely disturb whoever I'm sleeping with. And so that is when I write longhand. I write longhand in the shower because I have a little thing called an aqua note in the shower and a pencil. So if I come up with a really good idea while I'm showering, I write longhand. But otherwise I don't really write longhand. I will sketch out like fight scenes and stuff like that because I think very visually. So that's sometime, if you look up, again, Gail Carriger sketches or like soulless sketches, you can see some of my like super early sketches, including the fight sequence at the end of the first book. Because it helps me visualize where people are in the room and stuff. But no, mostly I do everything digitally now. And I keep my ideas and thoughts in Scrivener project files. So I'll have I write a whole universe in one project file. So like these were all in one Scrivener project. And then I'll have a couple of project files going with different, for the universes. So like the Parasolverse has a project file full of like short story ideas, possible spin-off books, possible like Claw and Courtship or Delightful and Deadly, future books and ideas and thoughts. And then the San Andreas universe has its own little file, and then now the Tinkered Stars universe has its own little file. And then I have another file that's just like random possible future books and stuff. So that's how I do Scrivener. Scrivener, because it has such a strong visual component to it, and you can include like lots of visual assets like images and character inspiration and clothing. Scrivener is pretty much what I use the most. Okay, I managed to get it open. Now we're going to try one. Oh! There's like a pit in the center. Is that intentional? It's definitely a pit. So far as I know, gooseberries don't have pits. These are very strong. They taste almost alcoholic to me. They don't taste like either Phycelias, which I have had before, or gooseberries. They taste almost like wine gummies, like the British wine gums. You know those? There's like a peppery component to them. Yeah, they all have this pip. There's almost like they're spiced with like a spiced wine. Like there's a cinnamony, nutmeggy. There are flavors going on in this that I don't know what they are. That was not what I was expecting. I would say these have more to do with like a chili spiced port or something than and meets brandy than anything I've had before. I've never tasted anything like these. So, wow, what a way to start. Honestly, I'm a girl who will stick any food in her mouth at least 3 times. So for me to say I've never tasted anything like it is pretty unusual. Palate cleanser. And now we will take another question. Lavender asks, could Subterranean do a slipcase of the 3? I don't think so. I don't think Subterranean... Oh, they do slipcases, but that's only for like super collector editions. So I don't know if they might. Sure, they might. Again, like we can speculate as much, but I would actually have to talk to them about it first. And I tend to hold my guns talking to somebody until I have ammunition. So, you know, I have to wait until these books have been out a little while, see if they've generated enough buzz, that kind of thing. To even bring it up with them. I don't want to waste their time if it's not something that that they could sell enough of to make it worth their while, especially if they have to sell price it very high because it's going to be a big object. Remember, the larger the book, the more the shipping costs, the more printing costs, and so on and so forth. Amanda asks, Fex likes mushrooms. Oh, sorry. It's revealed through the course. That was a bit of a spoiler. It's revealed through the course of the books that he accidentally likes mushrooms. I think you did, if you finished it. It's mostly revealed in this book. It's not a spoiler. It's just kind of a little fact about all of these teas he's been inventing and powders that he's been using. Lavender is saying, Lavender asked the font question, and Lavender is saying that they have opinions about fonts. Good. Everyone should have opinions about fonts. No, it doesn't really matter. But it's awesome if you have opinions about fonts. I could talk about fonts forever. I watched, this is kind of embarrassing, but I think it was like a 3-hour long lecture on, I don't know, some learning app or another that somebody in my house had a subscription to for a while. And it was basically like all about the history of fonts and typology and the creation of typology and the evolution and what they mean. And I was like 3 hours, I swear, I was riveted. Like, I will become a complete simping dork for the strangest things, and typology is one of the things. I don't create them myself. I don't know anything about them, but like, man, it's totally fascinating to me. The way the shape of a letter can signal marker things like genre. Oh, it's fascinating. Yeah, fonts. My lipstick matches the color of Soul Listed. Pretty close. That's unintentional, I swear. But I am attracted to things for historical reasons, so. Lavender wants to know if I have a blog post about signaling genre and subgenre with cover art. No, I don't. I actually have a tag in the blog for cover art. So if you Google Gail Carriger cover art, that tag will show up, and that will do everything I've written on cover art. But mostly when I talk about cover art, I'm talking about my own stuff and why I'm making the choices I'm making, why I'm choosing those colors and fonts and stuff. I'm not really an expert on it, so I haven't really talked about, no, I don't consider myself an expert, so I don't want to kind of like wax poetical, like I know what I'm doing in terms of genre. It's just osmosed from being, you know, within this business because I write different genres, but also because I've been in the business for, 15 years now, and actively thinking about it as a cover art designer since like 2016, just as a, producing my own books. And then as a reader, forever. As a reader, I didn't really realize what was being told to me by the fonts, but now I do. But no, I'm sorry, Lavender, I haven't really written about it like from a pro perspective. Others are saying how much they enjoy writing in coffee shops. That's awesome. So Lavender has another question. Let me try my next weird purple food. Ready? Shall we do these? These are ube-filled crackers. Ube is purple sweet potato or purple yam. I love it. I know this flavor well. I've been warned that these are very crispy. So you've been warned too if you don't like mouth noises. Ooh, they smell like ube, which is kind of a mellow, vanilla-y sweet potato flavor or yammy flavor. Mm. Those are really good. They are very crispy. They are very ube. They have that vanilla, mellow, kind of comforting, milky flavor. It tastes a little bit like the, in America, the quote-unquote yogurt covering on the outside of like pretzels or something like that, but with a bit more complexity to it. And then the outside is kind of like a super crispy cereal. If these were smaller, they'd make a really good cereal, I think. It'd be really good with milk. Yeah, those are very tasty. I like those a lot. Yeah. Those are actually a pretty good palate cleanser because they have that sort of milky component. I'm one of those people who considers vanilla a flavor. I know there are others who call vanilla like a base flavor or whatever, but I can taste it. I like the taste of vanilla. I also like chocolate. I don't think there's one or the other. All right, Lavender's next question. Lavender, it's very appropriate that you're the one asking questions on Purple Food Day. Speaking of merch, will Tillum Asterism fan t-shirts be a thing? I could make some, sure. That would be really fun, like band shirts. Oh, wouldn't it be fun to design band shirts for the Pantheons? I really want a like destined to become a god or something. Yeah, help me come up with ideas. I could always make t-shirts. I do make you know, Kelly and I can get together and do something. But yeah, but what would be the slogans and what kind of t-shirts would you want? That's the question. The real question. Sue has not a real question. But says World Market has, yes, Cost Plus World Market used to be, especially when I was a kid, one of the only places we could get British stuff. But yeah, it has stuff from all over the world often. I happen to be lucky enough to live in a part of the world that has a lot of Asian markets. We don't have an H Mart nearby, which is a great sadness to my life, but we do have lots of Asian markets. And I eat a lot of Asian food. It's probably the food I eat the most because I'm pretty lactose intolerant. Like, I take pills and like just deal with it most of the time. But yeah, Asian food is mostly lactose free, so it's just like an easy thing for me to eat. And also, you know, it's easy to cook. I like lots of vegetables and I like fast cooking and frying and stir fries and stuff. And so I pretty much grew up that way. You know, weird British and Scandinavian takes on stir fries and vegetarian dishes, but now we're so global, and you know, you can just go onto YouTube and get, you know, a recipe for drunken noodles or whatever. That's mostly what I eat, and it's just what I cook for myself too. So Asian markets, I love them, and I do most of my shopping there. Purple food. Okay, it looks like we got a bunch of comments happening, so maybe it's time for the next purple food. Taro chips, yeah, the purple potatoes and the purple beets. Yum yum. Okay, let's do this one. Yes. Okay, these are purple yam cakes. They look a little tiny bit like mooncakes, which is very appropriate for today. No, they aren't mooncakes. These ones have to be refrigerated. Oh no, they don't look like mooncakes. Here they are. It looks like a kind of a biscuit. Okay. Stick with me here. These are giving me kind of Fig Newton feel. They're kind of like a savory short crust on the outside. Not super flaky, but not as stodgy as I was expecting it. And the inside really tastes and feels consistently wise just like a piece of roasted yam. Like it may have been mashed up and like mixed with preservatives and other stuff, but like it really just tastes like fresh yam. Maybe they added a little bit of flavoring or sugar or something into it. It's good. I think these would be really good with tea. I really like that they're not too sweet, which is also giving me like a mooncake feel. Most of the different flavors of mooncakes that I've had have not been very sweet. And I like that. I do like super sweet food, don't get me wrong. I am, you know, half British, but sometimes it's nice to have a sort of more filling food that's not too sweet when you're snacking, especially if you're trying to make it through to the end of the day. I think these would be a really good, like, tea. Here they are again. I think these would be really good for tea. Like this is filling, this little thing, and I think it'd be really nice, you know, to get you from a tea time all the way through to dinner. I think it would probably fill me up in a way that would make me not get hungry before it was dinner time. Yeah, those are nice. Lots of winners today. This is exciting. Apparently, I really like purple food. The name of the label of the first bite. The first bite was this one. Ooh. Star gooseberry. Oh, I wonder if it had star anise in it. It says sweetened star gooseberry and kumquat, which are two entirely different things. Kumquat is a citrus, gooseberry is a phycelia. So, like, not sure what's going on, but that's what it is. And it's Mert Chum wrote, and the script looks like it's Vietnamese, but it was made in Fremont, California. So maybe a Vietnamese product or in a Vietnamese style. And this was the one that tasted kind of like a wine gummy to me, but like more alcoholic. And yeah, be aware that there's a tiny little seed inside it. I probably should, like, you know what, I'll make Kelly do it. I'm gonna leave a lot of these for Kelly because I'm immediately going to Thailand, right? So I don't know that I'll be able to eat all of this in this time frame. But I'll have her, you know, write them all up for you. So I'll put it in a blog post or something with the video, and you can see what they all are. How's that? These ones were Oishi, which I know that brand specifically because they advertise in a lot of Thai dramas. But I think that is a Japanese brand. Pillows Ube-Filled Crackers is what they were called. And again, oh, this is from the Philippines. Or at least this was made in the Philippines. And then this one is Chinese. Well, that's what it says. But it's also made in the Philippines. Okay. All right, next one. These are pastillas de ubi. So these are obviously this must be from the Philippines because of the Spanish. I'm assuming. Am I? Yeah, Philippines. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Filipino, modern language Filipino is a mixture of Tagalog and Spanish and English because of the history of occupation of those islands. So it's a really interesting. If you watch Filipino dramas, which I do occasionally, the language is really something. It's real fascinating to listen to, I gotta say, as a amateur fan of linguistics. Okay, here we go. So these are chewy milk candy made with purple yam. I like milk candy. I'm a big fan of Korean milk candy in particular. So I'm excited. I think it will go well with the yam flavor. So here we go. Excuse me while I chew. While I chew, I'll look through the... Oh. Huh. Okay. Totally different consistency from the Korean style milk candy. Way chalkier. It's clearing out it's going faster. The Korean milk candy, I would have been chewing that for, 10 minutes in front of you all. I don't know that I like this one. It's not milky enough for me. It's a little too on the yam end of the spectrum, and it tastes almost savory. You know what? The consistency is like a bouillon cube. That's what the consistency is like. And there's a little bit of a kind of a meaty flavor going on as well. Also, lactose intolerant, so I'm not going to finish this one because it has actual milk in it. Yeah. For me, these ones weren't good. I'm not a fan of these guys. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I rarely hate any foods. But I don't think I would get those again. I like the consistency of the yumminess in this treat better. I'm gonna eat some more of it. More eating. This is just a new method of entertainment for me and you. I wasn't sure if you guys would have, because the other live was so recent, I was like, I don't know if they'll have very many questions for me. So, ooh, somebody wants the taro milkshake. I do have the taro milkshake, or I have a bubble tea, and I have a juice box. So don't worry, there's more coming. Lol, making a mental note. It's purple. How could anyone not like purple food? Oh, well, thank you, Liza. Liza says that Oishi. I don't know I have no Japanese, none. I don't know how to pronounce the words when they're written in front of me, so I apologize profoundly. But it means delicious in Japanese, and that does not surprise me. It's Japanese for yum, says Rose. Great, as it should be. Yes, Korean pop stars and Thai BL stars advertising Japanese brands is a thing. It's very interesting to me. Sue asked if I have a recipe for any of the food that Fex has cooked. No, because I used alien things in it. But maybe I should. Maybe I should do some of Fex's dishes. Okay, good. We have no questions, so if you'd like to ask another question, we can do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to try the taro flavored milk drink. So probably should have gotten some lactate pills for this, but I'm just not going to drink very much. Should be okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to stop and save it and drink that. That's really good. Okay, it tastes like melted ube ice cream. It's probably got a bazillion calories in it. 160. That's not that bad for the whole thing. But yeah, that's delicious. That's really good. Now, I should say, I am one of those people who, like, if I eat a sweet cereal and it sits in the milk is kind of sugary and flavored by the cereal, I will drink the milk. I like that. I like the strawberry milk. I like a banana milk. I like this like flavored milk thing that does not exist in the United States except as smoothies or as milkshakes. But yeah, the idea of basically a sort of melted liquid milkshake flavored milk thing is delightful to me. I love it. I probably shouldn't drink it, but I love it. So that was easy. Let's just try this one right after, the taro flavored one. It looks like it might have boba in it, so I will shake it. If you get Taiwanese milk boba tea, so Taiwan is the inventor of bubble tea, ostensibly, so far as we can tell. You always shake it there. That's the reason it comes with the sealed lid. You're supposed to shake your bubble teas. Oh. Okay, it's not purple in color. It's like a pale peach color. Interesting. If it didn't say milk tea on it, I would have guessed this was like a rice tea or maybe a rice soy mixed tea or mixed drink. Yeah, it's not purple though, so it doesn't really count. And I think this one is much better. So let me give you a close-up of this one. There it is. I'm guessing that's, yeah, it looks like it's in Korean. So I'm guessing that's a Korean brand. But yeah, that's very, very good. This is less exciting to me. And I didn't get any bubbles, but they could be, boba. But they could be all at the bottom. I'd have to pour it out to know for sure. Ooh, taro milk tea powder. That's a good way of going about it. Yeah, somebody was talking about Filipino romance authors and being used to Tagalog popping up in conversation. Yeah, and if you watch like Filipino dramas, sometimes whole sentences will be in English all of a sudden. It's one of those languages where I'm like, because I also speak limited, but I speak Spanish. I'm always kind of like, I could probably get by okay in the Philippines, just because of the complexity of the language. It feels very much like I'm almost there when I'm watching one of the dramas. I'm like, I can almost understand it without the captions, but then there'll be a paragraph in Tagalog, and I'm like, no, I don't understand it at all. But it's a really cool language. I recommend listening to it. Elderberries are bluish purple. Oh, do we think these are elderberries? I mean, it could be, but then they have the physalia and the gooseberries in picture form. I think these green ones here are like kind of star shaped, and so is the funny little seed in the middle. So, which is like a cloudberry kind of shape. So I think it's probably a mixture, and I think there's a fruit in here that I'm just unfamiliar with, and they're just calling it things that seem familiar, but aren't by my standards, shall we say. Okay, we're done these ones? We're getting in. We have to round this up. We have to finish. This looks like it is, ooh, my eyes are so bad. That's either Chinese or Korean. I cannot tell. It's too small for me to read. Oh, made in China. So it must be Chinese. Okay. These look like they're a gummy again. And I have no idea. Oh, they're grape flavored. Well, that's great. I love grape. I like that a lot of Asian countries use like muscat grape or Concord grape to flavor their grape stuff. I like grape things. I always have. I'm the person who eats the purple Skittle. They smell like Asian grape flavor, which is a very specific kind of grape, but I like it a lot. Yeah. These are awesome. One of the things I particularly love about Asian gummy candies in general is that they tend to go sourer than the American ones. I really like sour food. So, yeah, these are, I could eat this whole packet. These are right up my alley. Yeah. Make a note, if you care, Gail loves grape flavored stuff. I am that weirdo. I understand it's very divisive. I also like banana stuff occasionally. Like, I don't really have an agenda against any fruit. But these are good. These, if you like grape things, you will like these. Definitely. They're yummy. Okay, another success story. We've got one more to go before the end of the live, and any final questions you might have? Crackle, crackle, crackle. Okay, these are sugar biscuits, and these are Ube flavored sugar biscuits. So, yeah, and they're kind of individually wrapped, which is nice, because there's no way I can eat the whole packet. This is when I wish I had some of you around, and I could just be like, it's tea time, we're going to try all these things. Oh, I think I was warned that these are very flaky and I'm probably going to have to vacuum after I eat them, which is fine. I need to vacuum anyway before I leave for a month. Okay, so here, they look, this one's broken. They look like this. So they look very flaky. They have like sugar crystals on the top, and they smell like ube. They look a little bit like palm, the Italian palm biscuits. I can't remember what the Italian word is. Palmettes? Is that what they're called? No. That's the flake they have too. So yeah, this is like a thinner palmette basically, but ostensibly ube flavored. I'm getting a little bit, not a ton. They're really nice. These actually would be great with hot tea. They'd be great at a party or something. These are nice. There's a definite like vanilla ube-ness coming through in them, but they're not very aggressive. It'd be a good palate cleanser. Those are good. Generally, I'm more like a chewy cookie person than a crispy cookie person, but those are really nice. Yeah. So for me, the winners of the purple food off were this milk tea, which I shouldn't but could drink the entire thing. These little grape candies and the ube pillows. I think those are my 3 favorites. I also liked these guys. These are in the refrigerator section, and I liked these guys too. So I think that both of those would be good with tea as like part of a afternoon thing, either for a party or whatever. I wish my mom had a tea party coming up. I would have take these out to her. Oh well. Maybe they'll keep until I get back. This has been lovely. Thank you for joining me for talking about a trilogy, sort of, but mostly talking about food and purple food in particular. Whoever warned me that these ones would get crumbs everywhere, you're absolutely right. I'm covered in purple crumbs, but, you know, needs must. And yeah, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a blast. So you won't see me for the regular live next month, but you will see me for the regular live in November. In grand tradition, the November live is the NaNoWriMo live. Now, I no longer do NaNoWriMo. Yours truly is a NaNoWriMo failure. I've never managed to do it properly, so I don't do it anymore. I don't even try. But that means basically I will talk about the craft of writing with you. I don't often talk about the craft of writing, but I will. So all of you who are writers who really want to pick my brain about that side of it, or if you're a reader who wants to know how the magic happens, the next live in November will be that. So I hope you have some great questions for me, and I look forward to talking to you about writing and being a writer. It'll be really, really fun. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoy the trilogy, like all of them, all 3 of them, 4 months. I produced these in 4 months. It's crazy. Yes, I hope you love it. I hope you, please think about reviewing it or recommending it to people who also might love it. I wouldn't write it if I didn't want you to read it. So please read it and enjoy it. Spread the love. I think this might be the strongest ending of a book series I've ever written, and I have said this before and I'll say it again. I feel like I specialize in strong endings. It's what I love to do. I love wrapping up books. I love writing the final book in a series. So I think this is a killer final book. I hope you do too. And I will talk to you all in a month and a half. So stay safe, be good to yourselves, and if you can, be good to somebody else.